Hey, welcome back to Percentages. In this presentation, we're going to look at common uses of them. And looking around the screen, we've got some bad news. Taxes up 7% up the top here. Down the bottom, water up 3%, electricity up 5%. You'll be pretty familiar with this sort of advertising. Sale up to 40% off. That's better news. All items 50% off. So it's used around the world universally, the idea of percentage. So let's have a look at applying our understanding of percentages to some actual calculations that are practical. So come on down. First question is, if these things are going up or going down, what will it cost me? That's what you're going to ask, what will it cost me? So 3% of your water bill, that's the increase. 3 out of every 100 times 250, the increase is $7.50. Somebody else has got a slightly higher water bill, and they're going to pay the same increase as a percentage, 3%. So there's that sort of comparison. So it's all fair across everybody, except 3% of 420. The bigger bill is 3 out of 100 times 420. Right? Put it over 100. The percentage over 100 times the quantity. They're going to suffer an increase of $12.60. Okay, do you get the idea? Let's come down and put some of it together now. And here's an example from Hayes and Harris Publications. So I should have that book close by there. 6% of 150 kilogram. There it is. 6 out of 100, 6 over 100 times 150. The answer would be 9. We can do some cancelling here by 50s. 50 into 100 goes twice, and so on. 4.5% of $210. You might choose to do that as a decimal, and then on the calculator, 4.5% is still 4.5 out of 100, divide by 100, and that's equivalent to 0.045, the decimal fraction if you like. So you can then multiply that by 210 on the calculator. A couple of ways of doing them, in other words. If it cancels like this, that's probably the best way of looking at it. All right, come down, let's look at another one. Sandra scored 86% in her exam. What actual marks? She's going around saying she got 86%. I wonder how many marks she lost. So let's say 86% of 150 is 86 out of 100. Oh, cancelling is going to get a bit rough here, so you could just move the decimal place in at 86. It's 86.0, so this is 0.86. And we're finding that percentage of 150. So here the of means multiply. So it's 0.86 times 150, which is 129. So if you want to know how many marks she lost, that's 21, isn't it? 129 out of 150 was the 86%. So we can go backwards and forwards to better understand the idea of comparing performances particularly. Let's go down. I want you to have a go at, this is 5C now. So I'll give you the first 4 questions. For this presentation, have a go. I'm going to show you the answers further on. So once you've done a few, toggle on. You don't want to keep doing them if you're getting them wrong. So go forward and back and just check your answers. Here come the rest of this set now. 5, 6, 7. Okay, I want you to have a go at most of those problems there. And make sure you're up to speed now, because this is important in everyday life, around the world, internationally. So let's have a look at the answers now. There we have the 7 answers, so check them off, go back, and you might have to check that you're doing the right thing. All right, let's move on. Here we go. Here's the next thing we want to know. If you've calculated increase, what will the final price be? We want to know what we have to pay. So going back to our water bill, 3% of 250 is 3 over 100 times 250. Our increase is $7.50. So the final price is $2.50, the original plus the extra. We're not just going to pay $7.50. That's the extra. So that's in 2 steps, isn't it? 1 step, calculate the increase, and then add it on to get a final price. Add it to the original. Don't forget, you've got to pay the original plus the increase. That's a 2-step method there. Now that's interesting. I wonder if you've ever seen how to do it in 1 step. I've got a question for you here. Can we do it in 1 step? Oh, here we are. Let's see if we can use maths to the rescue. The final price will be 100% of the original price. 100%, 100 squares out of 100 squares. 3% is the increase. So overall, what are we doing to the original? We want 103% of it. Because remember, 1 whole is 100 squares out of 100, 100%. So we now really have to pay 103%. It's 103 out of 100, more than the whole, in other words. Okay, so here, change it to a decimal, divide by 100, 103.0 divided by 100 is 1.03. And we call that a multiplier, where we've condensed our percentage change down into a single number that we're going to multiply the original by it to get the final answer. And when we do that, yep, we get the same answer. Maths is good like that. You can use different methods, but always the same answer, mate. And these are the only steps needed to be shown. You don't have to show all the stuff I've got up the top that was explaining it to you. You can, once you've worked out your multiplier, go straight to the answer there. So you can see it incorporates the increase in the original and you've got your final amount. I suppose the only thing it doesn't explicitly show you is how much it increased by, because it's all wrapped up in this multiplier, 1.03. So if you wanted to know how much increased you're actually having there, you'd have to subtract the original 250 and you'd see that the increase was $7.50. But it still is quicker, isn't it? This one-step method, and this is very, very important for later in maths to be able to do this line here, 1.03, because if you keep increasing by 3%, it's very good to actually keep just multiplying it up, rather than working out 3% at the first stage, 3% at the second stage, and so on. So please try to do this multiplier and understand it. Check with your teacher and other students if you're not sure. It's very important later on. Okay, come on down, and here's my question for you. What would the multiplier be if we want to do it in one step, in other words, if we reduce the price? And here's the hint, the amount would decrease. So what do you think we would have to do to get a multiplier that would decrease an amount by a certain percentage? Okay, discuss it with your classmates and your teacher. I'm going to show you the answer now. Here we are, sale up to 40% off. Okay, there's 40% off. So what does that mean? 100% minus the 40%. Here's the difference here. Taking 40% away, you're going to only have to pay 60% of the original. 60 over 100 times the original, or the multiplier is 0.6. Multiply, what we call the multiplier here, is 0.6. So we're only paying 60%. A little more than half the original price. Okay, and what do you notice? When you multiply by a number less than 1, so this is less than 1, it's going to decrease the amount. Because the whole amount is 100 out of 100. And this is only 60%, 60 out of 100. So the multiplier is going to be less than 1. So that was the answer to the question up above. You're going to have less than 100 squares out of 100 squares if you like. So what do you do? Here's the actual calculation you have to do. Only this one step here. Multiply by 60% of 350, go straight to your final price. Okay, notice you are not actually working out how much you got off. The 40% discount is not apparent here. You've gone straight to the answer. What would you do if you wanted to actually work out the discount or how much you got off? Discount's a way of saying how much you got off. Well, what would you do? Well, there's your final price that you're paying. You'd actually have to take it away from the original. Have to be that other step done at the end now. So that's the difference between the two-step method and the one-step method. This one-step method doesn't actually calculate how much you're going to get off. All right, are you ready to do some? Let's have a go. Here's another example. You've got a couple coming up. Increase 5,000 by 20%. Okay, so something's gone up by 20%, that's big. So here, 20% of 5,000, It's 20 out of 100. You can cancel that down to 0.2, or you could just go, that's a fifth. Tens and twos and a 10 goes 1/5 of 5,000, so you can do it as a decimal or as a cancelled fraction there. Remember to divide top and bottom by 10 and then by 2. So the new amount, this is doing it the two-step method, is 1,000 plus 5,000, 6,000. Okay, so decrease 80,000 by 12%. This is a two-step method here. 12% of 80,000, 0.12. 12%, 12 out of 100, and shift the decimal place. 12 is 12.0. So the decimal we want there is 0.12 times out 80,000. Do it on the calculator, and so this time it's 80,000 take, because we said to decrease it. So this is the two-step method here. I want you to try and switch to the one-step method as we go along. Come down now and let's have a look at this one. This is the one-step method, sorry. Increase 5,000 by 20%. We increase by 20%, we multiply by, well, we increase it there, it's 120%. So what is 120% as a multiplier? It's 120 out of 100. Let's do that by shifting the decimal place in here. So the multiplier is 1.2. You've gone over 100%. The multiplier is going to be over 1. You're going to increase the amount. Increasing, multiplier bigger than 1. You're adding on a certain percentage of the original. Okay, and go straight to the answer. So same answer. Let's have a look at the other one. 80,000 decreased. So here you've got 100% and you lost 12%. So got 88%. Your amount is 88 out of 100 times 80,000. Or you're doing on the calculator, you might change this to a decimal. 88 is 88.0 dividing by 100 in there, so the multiplier is 0.88, and you go straight to the answer. You will only pay 88% of the original, so there's a straight answer. This is the one-step method. Very important to be able to go straight to the answer in one step. For what we're going to do later on in maths, you need to have this multiplier tucked away. Okay, come down and let's have a look at some problems now. They're suggesting you use two steps here. I'd suggest maybe you do it by two-step and the one-step method and see how you go, all right, for both of them. Bring in that one-step method as much as you can. Let's have a look at the answers now. There they are. All right, come down now, and these are particularly needing to be done with the one-step method. Find the multiplier, and then, so that's getting the idea of the multiplier. Here's a little fellow. A decrease, the multiplier is less than 1. You're going to have less than the original, you're taking it away. For an increase, you're going to have more than 1. Okay, because 1 is 100%. Okay, 1 out of 1, if you like, 100%, all squares out of the total 100. So if you're going to have more, you've got to have bigger than 1. You're going to have less, it'll be multiply less than 1. Try and get the hang of that. Okay, I'll show you those 8. We'll come up with 9 in a minute, and then I'll go forward and show the answers. All right, come forward just a little bit now. Have a look at the last couple. Look at 10. Be careful with that. 10 is in red, meaning it's a little bit harder. So be careful, do it in a few stages. And the one-step multiplying method is better for that one then. Okay, let's have a look at the answers. There we are for that last set, up to number 10. Did you get number 10 right? I wonder how they got that answer. I'll have to check it with your teacher about that one. Okay, hey, I hope you're proud of yourself. You're building up a lot of good skills now. So cheers for that, and I'll catch you in another presentation. See you then.